One of the more basic ways of providing context to an AI tool as you work with it is to personalize your AI tool. And there are a couple of ways you can do this. Number one is in the settings. Almost all AI tools at this point, including ChatGPT, has some way for you to go into the settings and give it some information about who you are, where you live, what you work on, what your preferences are, how you'd like for the AI to reply to you, what you like and do not like, and sort of just a general thing that gives it something to work on so it knows a little bit about you and what your expectations are before you start a new chat. And whatever information you put into these settings, the AI model will see this at the beginning of every single time it spits out new tokens, right? So it's the beginning of each chat, and as it continues through, it will always keep sort of in the back of its head, if you will, that, for example, in my case, I'm a professor at Tulane, I teach these courses, I'm interested in these things, I use the following tools, I'm aware of the following things, I'd like you to do give me outputs in this format and to avoid giving me things in this format, right? So personalizing the settings of whatever tool you're doing increases the quality of the AI outputs that you get. And also, it saves you a lot of time. You don't have to keep telling it about yourself because it already knows this, right? And a sort of expanded version of this that's been rolling out lately more and more is for AI tools, especially actually ChatGPT, to have a memory function where you can decide by opting in or out on a couple of things. One is whether or not you want this tool to save memories from chats you're doing, for example, right? So if you're discussing something and you have memory on, you might see suddenly that it says like saving memory, and it will now add that sort of in a similar way as those settings you have given the personalization something about you it thinks might be useful, right? And in more recent times, they've also added the option for you to give it access to all of your chats and say like, you know what, I want you to know everything from all my chats because I think you'll be able to do an even better job for me. Now, there's sort of two sides to that. I do not use memory because I find that it sort of to some degree pollutes the context more than anything else. I'd like to be able to control exactly what it knows about me for each chat, but that's also because I'm not your typical AI user, right? I use AI for myself, for work, for clients, for students, for demonstrations, for workshops. There's so many different things where a lot of these sort of memory things would just not be useful in any way, but I am aware that a lot of other people find this to be very helpful, right? So that's something for you to decide. It's important, obviously, that you make a decision on that you are aware of whether or not whatever AI tool you're working with has these memories of what you've done before or not. One other way of doing this is through something called projects. All right, they can also be called custom GPTs and ChatGPT, and they're sort of like a small project within the AI where you give specific instructions and information only for when you're working on this project. So as an example, each course that I teach, for example, Data 2150, Artificial Intelligence Tools, I will have a project within my AI tools, and it will have the syllabus for that and whatever other information I think is useful for it. And quite often, as we work our way through the semester, I might also give it the transcripts from the class meetings that we've had, so that when I work inside of this project, my AI tools know that whatever I'm talking about is within the frame of this course, right? And because it has the summaries of everything that's been said in my class meetings, it also knows where we are in the semester, what we've been working on, and what we should be doing next. So this is very useful, and it's contained within this project and does not sort of bleed into other things that I'm doing where this would not be relevant. One last thing under personalization, which is a very new function, is something called connectors or connections, where your AI tools, some of them now, probably all of them soon, you can set them up to connect with other tools that are non-AI tools that you use. For example, I have set up my Claude so that it has access, which I can turn on and off for each chat as I want, to my Google Calendar, my Gmail, and my Google Drive, so I can see my recent documents. And I've also set it up to connect with something called Zapier, which means I can connect to all sorts of other things, and something in my case called Asana, which is a sort of project or task management tool, right? So now it can, as part of this personalization, not only know the things that I've already told it, but I can go in and say, go find this thing in my calendar or this document, and then let's talk after that, right? So be able to connect with these things means that I can personalize my AI tools even more and get even more quality results out of my work with AI.